Solve. The ratio of the weight of an object on Earth to the weight of the same object on Pluto is 100 to 3. If a buffalo weighs 3,611 pounds on Earth, find the buffalo's weight on Pluto. Round to the nearest pound. Okay, they are mentioning from the very beginning of this problem that this problem is going to involve a ratio. Ratios are able to be written in, we are able to write a ratio as a fraction. In fact, when we say the phrase, the ratio of, when we say that phrase, immediately we can write the fraction bar. So when we say, when I say the ratio of something, I draw the fraction bar. The very next thing that is mentioned in the sentence, weight of an object on Earth, the very first thing after the word of goes in the numerator. So I say weight, I'm going to abbreviate weight with WT, weight on Earth. The very first object that comes after, object of a sentence that comes after the of goes on the numerator. The next part that goes down in the denominator, the weight of the object on Earth, to now comes what goes in the denominator, the weight of the same object on Pluto. So I'm going to go the weight on Pluto. Okay, so this is the way we set up a ratio. So here's what we just said. The ratio of the weight of an object on Earth to the weight of an object on Pluto. So now they're giving us actual numbers for this ratio. So I'm gonna revisit this now. This is going to be the setup for two sides of a proportion. Okay, a proportion is a ratio set equal to a ratio. We're going to use this idea. Ratio set equal to another ratio. And it's going to be Earth to Pluto. We can even say weight on Earth to weight on Pluto as weight on Earth. Let's say weight just so we make it look like the same on the other side. Weight on Earth to weight on Pluto. And now we're going to see how we fill in the numbers for this proportion. Like I say, as I started, a proportion is set up as a ratio set equal to another ratio. And here are the two ratios set equal to each other. All right, now let's look at the numbers that they're giving us. I'm thinking we could take the first number, the weight the weight on Earth to the weight on Pluto is 100 to 3. So 100 on Earth to 3 on Pluto. That's the number. Those are the numbers that belong on this side of the proportion, in this ratio. Now, they're telling us that a buffalo weighs 3,611 pounds on Earth. So they're getting specific about a specific object. 3,611 pounds on Earth. Find the buffalo's weight on Pluto. Well, what would the weight in pounds be of the buffalo on Pluto? We used the same setup of units and concept of ratio on the left, weight on Earth in the numerator, weight on Earth in the numerator, in both numerators, weight on Pluto in the denominator and weight on Pluto in the denominator to set up this proportion. If I take all those words out, here's what we're left with. 100 is to 3 as 3,611 is to x. That's the proper way to read a proportion. Now, what we do to solve a proportion, well, one way to solve a proportion is to set cross products equal to each other. A cross product is one numerator times what's called its opposing denominator. You cross over the equal sign and you draw a diagonal, and we get this 100 times x. That's called a cross product. Product implies multiply. So 100 times x, here's one cross product. Here's the other cross product. Then we go to the other numerator and multiply it by its opposing denominator. Diagonally across the equal sign, we get 3,611 times 3. These are the two cross products in this proportion. We set them equal to each other. So I'm thinking the way that we can solve for this unknown weight, when we don't know something, we represent it by an x. That's what this x represents. The weight of the buffalo on Pluto. Find the weight of the buffalo on Pluto. Here's x. Find the weight of the buffalo on Pluto. We can solve this equation by first multiplying the right side, and we'll do that with long multiplication. 3,611 times 3. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 1 is another 3. 3 times 6 is an 18. Carry a 1. 3 times 3 is 9, plus this 1 is 10. And that's an entire number. There are no decimals to account for. So we get 10833 equals 100. 100 times x. When we're solving for x now, we've simplified both sides. We're going to solve this equation for x, which means our goal for solving any equation is positive 1x equals a number. In order to achieve this number, like right now, the way I'm interpreting this equation is 100 x's equal 10,833. Well, if I want to find out what 1x is, I'm going to divide 100 x's by 100. Whatever this number is to the left of the variable, the coefficient, whatever that coefficient is, if it's not a 1 yet, divide by whatever it is. It's 100 in front of x, I divide by 100. That's going to create this positive 1x that we're looking for. Any number divided by itself. 100 divided by 100 is 1. In order to make this happen, and also keep the equation in balance, what we do to the left side, we must do to the right side. This divided by 100 is to keep the equation in balance. This divided by 100 is to create a positive 1 coefficient for x. Now I might switch gears on, instead of performing any kind of long division, I notice that we're dividing by a factor of 10 that's got 2 zeros in it. I'm going to take the decimal point that was here to the right of this product, and I'm going to move it to the left twice. Dividing by factors of 10 greater than 1, we count the number of zeros and compensate by moving the decimal point, this decimal point, to the left twice. So what we wind up with here is that the number that we're looking for out of this calculation for solving the proportion is 108.33. The units that belong next to this number are the units that are next to the x in the original proportion. So this represents an amount of pounds of the buffalo on Pluto. Now we're being asked to round to the nearest pound. So let me take this over here and say, if we had 108.33 pounds, when someone's asking us to say to the nearest pound or to the nearest whole number, they're asking us about this digit, the ones place. We're rounding to the ones place when they say to the nearest pound, to the nearest whole number, to the nearest pound, would be to the ones place. So we look one digit to the right of the ones and ask, is that 3 greater than or equal to 5? And of course 3 is not equal to 5 and 3 is not greater than 5. Neither one of those is true. So we say no, it's not greater than or equal to 5. So what do we do to the 8? Nothing. We say that x equals 108 approximately. I need to go to wavy equal sign. It's not exact because we rounded and we lost the information from these two tenth and hundredth digits. And remember that when we're rounding decimal numbers, we truncate. We drop. It's called dropping decimals. We drop these 2/3 from the answer and make sure to apply the units of measure to the number that we got. The weight of the buffalo on Pluto would be 108 pounds. So we come up to our answer choices. We bring this answer, we compare to what we're shown if this was a multiple choice test or a multiple choice exam. Obviously this answer that is just right for us is answer A. because it matches all the work that we did and we feel good about our work.